Hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome to The
The truth
Truth
behind
Behind the
the
Truth,
truth. Woo.
Tuesday, Saturday edition. All right. Get our camera looking good. Get this handsome man on camera right here. That other handsome man all the way over there in Atlanta. He used to be a secret in Atlanta. Now he's publicized now. All right. How are you doing, dear?
I'm good.
Uh,
I'm good. How about yourself?
I am okay. I am
How you
okay.
doing, Charles?
I'm hanging in there. I just got over 3 weeks of COVID, so
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
I was trying to determine. You said, "What? You sure this last week one Easter
No,
Sunday?"
no, we just did a show prior. Does a show prior. See,
Well,
this is where you know time is going by so fast. We're now almost
Okay.
coming down into a new month, and I'm telling you, it's crazy that we're almost getting closer into a new year.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
It's getting closer. That's how that time is in the months and the days and the weeks.
Yes.
It's just going by. But it's so funny living out here in LA. I don't know how the weather is out back east with you, Charles.
Is it raining, Charles?
It might be. Is it raining, Charles, in Atlanta?
It did a little bit, but it's been up in the late, we call it the high 70s.
Oh, okay. That's comfortable.
The winter snap won't leave us.
But I'm liking it. I know when
It
we get
won't.
hot, we're gonna be hot regardless. I mean,
No.
sorry, guys, I'm putting y'all on social media. So go ahead.
But it won't leave us at all. So it's windy. Sometimes it gets warm during the day, but it has a little bit of a brisk type of coldness to it.
Yeah, it does.
And it has me thinking, should I just wear my sweater? Should I go without my sweater? And then the pollen is still flying too, because every now and then my sinuses and allergies are acting up, and I work mostly outside anyway, so it's just I get those elements. But my goodness, it won't leave us out here. This cold snap is just ridiculous.
Well, I think we got another week. It's supposed to drop down again, is what they're saying. But when it get hot, guess what?
Well, no humidity, thank God.
Yeah,
I know y'all deal with a lot of humidity, Charles. I don't miss the humidity down south. I really don't. I don't want it. I don't want to go back through that ever again. Oh gosh, if I would have to, I would just have to have a good paying job that would keep me in that place.
Right.
You have to force me with a good paycheck for me to go back. What a good paycheck.
I'm here and I say the same thing.
Wow. Well, come on. Well, don't come on. It's so sad to say this. It is really sad to even say this. Don't come out this way, because I think you should live wherever you want to live within this country.
Yes.
But the fact is that the way things are going right now with the cost of living, which is always the factor of wherever you live, and I have to keep explaining to people nationwide. Yeah, being out here in LA, the cost of living is high, but it's not the only place where the cost of living is high. Nationwide, we are going through this. If I was still living back home in Alabama, whatever I was doing with just one job wouldn't be enough for me to even get an apartment, even there. It wouldn't have made. I mean, even with good credit, I couldn't even get a place to live in the state of Alabama if I had a job that was, let's just say any old job that was paying at least over $15 an hour.
Well, you're looking at Southern minimum wage, number one. So therefore,
$7 body hour.
I think they pushed it to $7.25.
Or 12 is the highest, depending on what you're doing. Retail or fast food is either $12 is the highest.
Everybody just do the math. You can't get it on $12 an hour. At the end of the day, they were just talk about that on the news here, what the cost that is. And I was doing some, I didn't tell you yet, but I was doing some investigating on what it would be living in the Northeast. This wasn't part of our show tonight, guys. That's kind of where we were going.
It's nice to talk about it.
Let me get the particulars out of the way first. Then we go on digging.
Yeah, if you're not going through that, please buy our cups. Please, if you can afford $5, at least $9.99.
Wayne Bacon, we just tell him.
Yeah,
you didn't get a mug last time.
And these I hope don't have tariffs on them. Oh, yes they do. Yes they do. They do got tariffs on them.
Well, price just went up.
Price is going up.
Price just went to $35.99.
I see a made in China right here, y'all. So we got a tariff right here. Oh Lord. Ooh, Lord.
$35.99. Right.
Boy.
Yeah, that was good.
$35.99.
$35.99.
That's terrible. My goodness, y'all.
But yeah, we still have now, the best way to get one for free is to share and like the show.
Please.
All right. Was it 5 likes and 5 shares? All right. Send it to us in the email that you've already done it and you get a free mug. How about that? No tariffs on that. Well, maybe both.
There is no going around that.
What'd you say, Charles?
No, I was just laughing. I heard you say, "Hey, get around it."
Yeah,
there you go.
That's our solution. Get around it. Give the shit away free.
And we ain't gonna be the only one that's gonna be going around it too. In 2 weeks, you're gonna figure out what was made in China in 2 weeks. We're gonna figure out some things. When you go shopping, you see certain things ain't there. That was made in China. That was made in China. Oh shit! The whole entire store was made in China. Lord,
yeah, it
Jesus.
is. The whole show.
Whole
show is still on.
Oh Lord, it's gonna be a mess. Oh, come on.
So let's go ahead. Since you're there, we go ahead. Since we're there, we'll go ahead.
I was going to say I could actually give them an idea of what's made in China with Darling's video.
Oh, okay. That works. We'll go ahead and we'll let that go. Do it at the top of the show. Yeah. We got a few things we're going to talk to you tonight about, but yeah, we'll talk about the China deal and what benefiting point of why this man that y'all put in office is running this country into the ground fast. All right, but you know,
because Charles brought it up, and I want to bring it too.
No, all right, here we go. Then I'm gonna run it.
Go and run it.
Perfect. While he's getting it ready, you guys, it's pretty serious. Right, here we go.
Totality of the market in the world. So if the United States wants to go in that direction of completely shutting itself out of the China market, be my guest.
Yeah, and China will lose the US market, which, as I've said, is 15%.
We don't care. We don't care. China has been here for 5,000 years. Most of the time, there was no United States. And if the United States wants to bully China, we will deal with the situation without the United States. And we expect to survive for another 5,000 years.
When you hear Donald Trump say it just doesn't know how to go about it, they're proud people. J.D. Vance talks about Chinese peasants. What do you make of their conduct in this respect?
If J.D. Vance thinks that he's dealing with the peasants in China, and I'm proud to be a descendant of the peasants, most of us are descendants of the peasants anyway, that's our tradition. We are farmers before, but now we are one of the leading industrialized economies in the world. So I'm sorry, J.D. Vance doesn't know what he's talking about. And therefore, I don't think there will be China-US dialogue unless the United States changes its attitude towards China. Deal with China as it is, show respect to China, show respect to the Chinese people, and don't try to impose your prejudice and biased view about China or about the rest of the world. China is fully prepared to fight to the very end because the world is big enough that the United States is not the totality of the market in the world. So if the United States wants to go in that direction of completely shutting itself out of the China market, be my guest.
All right, before you dig in, I'm just gonna make a little light of it. You remember on Living Color, when the Wayans, who was it? Damon Wayans and what's his name? They used to do the
Man on Film.
Yes,
David Alan Grier.
David Alan Grier. David Alan Grier. When he used to come up, that one, Jerry. What was it 2 snaps and a circle and I got.
No, it was more like a taco to the hand. But you know what? Let me also say this. For the United States to bully China is odious. It's really odious because let me even read this.
Go ahead.
China has an education system that is a highly structured state-run system with a strong emphasis on academic achievements, particularly in math and science.
They do.
And they don't play.
Nope.
And the saddest thing about it is that this is not a game. And
Yes, it is.
no,
I'm being
I know
funny.
what you're saying,
I'm being
but,
funny.
and being sarcastic. But
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. But this is not a game to them.
Right.
Not to nobody. If you think about it.
And they're telling it's like they're telling that fool in Washington, you can play with your Jesus. Go play with your Jesus. Just don't come over here and play with us because you are barking up the wrong damn tree. And I think most Americans don't understand that we did this to ourselves.
No, we didn't do it. Trump did it to us.
That's
Trump
right.
and the Republicans.
Yes, he did, Charles. He did. But we allowed it. And this has been going on before Trump. This is going back as far as Reagan too.
True.
We have allowed other people to do the work because we don't want to do the work anymore. And I'm not trying to throw off, but at the end of the day, the average American voted this into a situation because we voted this type of stuff into what is happening with our situation with manufacturing right now. And I was telling my brother over the phone yesterday, I said, with Trump doing this, he thinks he's doing business all over again with our economy. And that's not how it works. But that's what most business people are doing. People that we work for, that we are employed by, they have been doing this to us to get back at us because they don't want to pay us. So they send these jobs overseas. They have outsourced these jobs over there, and they have now emboldened these countries to say, you know what? It's been nice. It's been nice. So you have no leg to stand on. Most of the stuff that y'all need, we build, we make. So we could care less what you think because you just given us what we need to say bye.
Now I got a what they call a caveat to that. Now think about this. We're looking at all these videos so-called from China. Remember, China can't use TikTok. It's not legal there. So how are those videos getting here for us to see?
Wow.
Are they still connected to a Chinese company? Because they do have let me look that up.
But in China, it's illegal for them to do TikTok. They control what's on TikTok, not like we do it. It's illegal to do what we're doing in China. So this is my thing. Somebody's either sabotaging the system or doing these robot videos. Putting these bots in there. There's no way in hell that people in China can send us videos. Right. It's illegal.
Well, they are owned by a Chinese company called ByteDance.
Right.
Headquartered in Beijing, and they are so they are still connected. But at the end of the day, Trump made a deal with these people, didn't he?
Yep. So I mean, again, always as we open a lot to impact, but let's deal with it just for a moment from the historical standpoint of view and where the United States, long before even typically collectively all here were born. Okay, the China investment has been going on before we even hit the planet. All right, maybe not in as great, but yet at the end of the day, it has. I mean, because I remember growing up with toys. You remember that, Charles? You can look at the back of them toys.
Yeah, but we also made toys here. Mattel, all those they were here, and then they went over to China.
Right,
it was like the mid-70s.
Right, and it became a situation where they could get the labor costs under control for those particular particular companies, all right? Because the Chinese labor was not that. Sweatshops, whatever it is, then people will do 80 hours for $2, all right? And I understand that wasn't going to happen here, in the process. But to get the cheap labor done or get the stuff done again, and they send it over there, So problem is that now you have this unknowledgeable bully that's over the country. I can't even say running the country because he ain't running. He don't know what he's running, but we're not talking about him. But coming back to think that you're going to bully somebody that really dominates the majority of your income, the income that comes into your country.
But that's not even the worst of it. The worst of it is we think we the boss. They didn't went around us and got with everybody except us. And now they're making deals. And Trump talking about they're going to kiss his ass.
That's
you
really
think
crazy.
I would come to you when somebody says that?
Nope.
I want to talk to you.
Not at all. And you think about, and just so that everybody understands and knows what the ramifications that this fool is doing. All right. if you go to your cupboard and pull out some dishes, all right, you look on the back of your dishes. Guess what's going to say on the back of your dishes? Made in China. All right. You go to your computer. Where's it going to say? Made in China. All right. Any viable usage thing, especially in your electronic life, made in China. All right. The next Android, I ain't gonna put iPhone first. Next Android, I was looking at it last night, getting ready to get it. Guess what? Made in China. Right?
You know the crazy part about all that is
China, huh?
JD Vance called them peasants. And like the man said, we're proud peasants because they made their economy to suit their people.
Yeah.
They made sure their people are taken care of, healthcare, education, modern technology, infrastructure, you name it, they taking care of their people.
Absolutely.
We got people who wants to be rich and don't let nobody else have none, right? And they don't care.
Absolutely. You know, now, so this is not so much of a celebratory point about China, okay, but it is a knowledge awareness of China. Okay. Yeah, China has a lot of problems, all right, at the end of the day, especially in the governing of their citizens and the communistic, aspects of what they do. And then they do have citizens that try to come to the U.S. to get away from that. Okay, that's another conversation. I get it. But the part that we need to be really concerned about, what this man is doing that is in the White House, is what he is doing. And
tourism is down.
Right.
Tourism is down. Miami's hotels are empty right now. They're supposed to be filling up now. They're empty. They said they're not getting the flow they had. Nobody, other countries are putting in travel embargoes against the United States.
Yeah.
We getting no tourism. We getting no.
Go ahead, Charles. I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish what you were saying.
Now I'm just saying that if you look at what Trump is doing, he's isolating us, and he's getting rich at the same time. Yeah. He's not only dogging our stock market, but he's with Elon making all this money on these deals. Elon didn't cancel out. I got another video we're going to show you in the next half about how Elon has taken over everybody that was fighting him for his the manufacturing flaws with his car, the self-driving, the SpaceX illegal launches they were doing. They got almost over $2 billion in fines they're supposed to pay. So Elon came in and got rid of the FCC. He got rid of all these the generals. All these people that was actually overseeing what he was doing. He got rid of them, so he wouldn't have to pay these fines because he's broken the law on multiple occasions.
Yep.
And then he signed himself for new deals. Now, if you're cutting budgets, how do you sign yourself up for new deals for SpaceLink and SpaceX and all these? How are you getting these contracts? You moved all these people out and took over all these contracts for you. Then Trump's not only making money off his merch, he's selling hats and cups and ties and you name it. And he's making money off the White House.
In the U.S., right? Okay.
And he doesn't come to the White House. He goes to Mar-a-Lago. Why? Because he charges the United States to be in Mar-a-Lago and to house his security and everything. So he's making money hand over fist while he's president. That's why he stays there. So you have to pay him. And then the United States, we still be talking about we saving money. Where?
No. And you know how much it cost him to fly Air Force One?
$25 million just to go to Mar-a-Lago from D.C.
$25 million to put that plane in the air.
But I want to read this, and it goes back to what we were talking about, the outsourcing of jobs. I'm reading this article from The Hill. It says Senate Republicans block bill to end tax breaks for outsourcing. Now, this happened back in 2014, around September. July the 30th of 2014. Now, Senate Republicans blocked a bill that would end tax breaks for companies that send jobs overseas. On Wednesday, the Senate voted 54-42 to end debate on S 2569 that is entitled the Bring Jobs Home Act. 60 votes were needed to advance the measure. Senator John Walsh, Democrat from Montana, and Debbie Stabenow, Democrat from Michigan, introduced the bill, which would give companies incentives to bring jobs back to the United States, including a tax write-off for the relocating costs and an additional 20% credit. Currently, the U.S. companies can deduct from their corporate taxes some expenses of moving facilities overseas. Democrats said 2.4 million jobs have been outsourced in the past 10 years. It is wrong that American workers subsidize a corporate decision to pack up American jobs and ship them overseas, Walsh said. Now, she said that was baloney. Now, Republicans argue that if Democrats truly wanted to keep companies in the United States, they would work with Republicans to overhaul the tax code and reduce corporate tax rates. So Senator Majority Leader Harry Reid, we all know who he is, blocked Republicans from offering amendments to the bill, which is why they voted against advancing the bill. So we Democrats are lined up against outsourcing, which is what he said, and we're ahead of the vote. A vote against the bill is a vote against American jobs. The legislation was part of the Democrats' Fair Shot campaign ahead of the midterm elections. If Republicans vote against closure, Democrats will likely use the vote against them in November, which they probably didn't. So this has been happening, and it does mention China. It says something about Procter and Gamble factories in China.
But then think about this: the cost of living. If you bring those back here, you can't pay a livable wage. They're paying people at that's
the point.
Bezos, Amazon. Amazon is paying an average of $17 to $18 an hour, and they're able to get food stamps because they're not making a livable wage. So you're going to bring those jobs here. Who's going to pay $30 to do toys and gym shoes? They're not going to pay that.
Charles, that's the point. They don't want to pay a livable wage. They want to keep exploiting the worker like they've been doing since the beginning of the 20th century. We have had that going on since, let's just say this. I have always said on this show, what makes America great again? Outsourcing work. In order for this country to have been a success, they needed other people to do the job. They had us. They had slavery. First slave ship came in 1619, right? That lasted up until 1865. And when that ended, you needed immigrants to come and do the work. And they exploited that. Carnegie, Rockefeller, all of these billionaires, they came of the Gilded Age, which is what it was called. They exploited their workers. So you got these new crops that came up, the new oligarchy, which is, you got your Walmarts, you got your Waltons, you got your Bezos, you got your Teslas, which is, your whatever.
Musk and his flunkies, the Musketeers.
And that's all they want to do is exploit. Even when Twitter, when that collapsed, when it was transitioning over to X, the only way Musk could keep that thing running was to get rid of those American workers and keep the green card workers. Because he knew that he had them jailed to their jobs. And if they wanted to leave their jobs, he had to I'm going to ship you back to your country because you have no other choice. So he made them work overnight. They couldn't leave. They probably couldn't eat, sleep, nor piss to keep X going. And that's why we still to this day. That's why he still have that platform to this day. He has immigrants working Doge. Because that's who's working Doge and working X. And I'm sorry, those jobs have been outsourced. There ain't no Americans working those jobs.
I'm like Dave Chappelle. I want to wear Nikes. I don't want to make them shits.
And we want to wear Jordans too. We want to wear Ivy Park. Where are those clothes been made? They ain't been made. They're not even in the Black community. See, we look up to these people, but they're doing the same thing. And why not?
Why? Because it goes back to the labor, and it also goes back to they can't make a profit off if the labor is too high. So therefore, you outsource it where the labor is cheap. It's simple math. I know why they're doing it.
And let's not forget when Trump was in office the first time, he did photo ops with shovels and hard hats for projects that still haven't been taken off.
Absolutely. I mean, completely, absolutely. So, I think I started this, and I think we talked about it some years back. When I started noticing and paying more attention to customer service calls, because when you call in the customer service, different places, your cell phone, cable, everything else, and all of a sudden I was like, this person don't sound like they from America. Okay, this time, and then I started. I took a world tour around the world. I went to India. I went to Pakistan. I went to, I went to Shanghai. And everywhere else in between. And I'm like, why is this? And then we talk about the jobs not being available for Americans. They take all the customer service jobs, and sent them over there, to which laid off tons of Americans. So anyway, we know that's happening. But most of y'all that make customer service calls, y'all know that that's happening. It's been happening. All right. The question is that are you going to continue to allow it to happen? All right. Are you going to continue to allow this man to do the things that he's doing? That's the question. Are you going to keep it? Are you going to keep it up? So yeah, I agree. Now the part we can all agree on is that the return to America needs to happen, but it can't happen at the expense of Americans. You know, at the end of the day, this decision can't help at the expense of us. You know, people losing their homes and things like that because they can't necessarily put it in their realm of possibility for what the expenses of what's happening to them. You know, so leave this shit alone. As far as I'm concerned, if you got a harmony going on with these other countries and be in a great place in America. Well, yeah, well, like the man just said we did, okay? But and at the same time, stop painting this picture of this country that has been your major support for a long time. Okay, a long ass time, all right? But as I said earlier, far longer than most people that are watching and will watch this show. All right?
Well, why was he pushing this agenda when he was so busy pushing his birther position?
Well, of course.
He was so busy trying to disqualify Obama when this should have been the issue when Obama was in office. Mm-hmm. But see, he was so busy playing petty then, and now he's playing. Now I'm trying to be the good guy and get these jobs back and save America. But you should have been trying to do that in your private sector situation.
Right.
You having a business, you didn't mind outsourcing your work. Mm-hmm. Your daughter Ivanka, she has sweatshops in China, mm-hmm. and most of her stuff being sold in Nordstrom those years. You didn't mind that,
right?
So what? Why now? What's the change now? What are you to get out of this? Because to be honest with you, that must be an investment somewhere that he's getting out of this.
No, that's automatic. I mean,
I don't fully understand this now. Change and stand.
Well, you have to realize that abundant load of gold sneakers, okay, them hats. Okay, you know, all that stuff got to be paid for.
Well, let it go.
Okay, and y'all paying for it.
What they're talking about in the comments. Go ahead.
So you know, again, we as you just lost. Yeah. You know, it all has to be in addressed in the situation, but not addressed the way this man is going about it. All right. I mean, at the end of the day, because it just takes on so many other lives. So we got to go to a quick break. We're gonna move on out of China. We're gonna go to another part of the world. Will we come back? But we are going to talk about the economy in a different aspect of where, depending upon where a person lives and the choices that they're living and moving around, there's a lot that you guys need to know about that. All right. So, all right, we'll be right back after this quick break.
Call 844-55-STARZ. It's Junk Stars, baby.
Hey, my name is Thurston, and here I have my CEO, son Langston. We specialize in junk removal, dumpster rental, and demolition. So if you need junk removed,
call Junk Stars.
You need dumpster rentals,
call Junk Stars.
All right, and we are back, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into The Truth Behind the Truth. Want to remind you guys real quick, of course, about supporting this wonderful platform. Cash App and Venmo. All right. Charles will probably put up in a minute for us on the screen. But support us, please support us. Okay. At the end of the day, just send your dollars. Okay. I don't want nothing that jingles. All right. So y'all know that. All right. So definitely do support us with that, as well. Going to make a shift real quick because there's a couple things that came up on our news sector, about the cost of living. And so many of us don't really I don't think they've gotten their heads around the cost of living and what it is, and to possibly make money where you are and what it means, understanding. People say, the cost of living here is too high, cost of living. Well, how can I say this?
Don't say it.
It's just, if you live in the South, you're not making $100,000 a year. Okay, you're barely probably making $45,000 to $50,000 a year, and that's probably a great job for you. All right. If you're living in the Northeast, New York, New Jersey, DC sectors, okay, your cost of living has to be almost as equal as to living in California. Wanted to clear that up for you, for those of you that wanted to doubt what is an average person, even as a single person in LA, $110,000 a year, okay, to be able to make it. All right, DC, New York, Brooklyn, outside of all, you think Brooklyn is just as high as living in LA. Okay, if you live in the full New York Manhattan sector, oh my gosh, you literally have to be as an individual about $8,000 a month, not as a family, and $8,000 a month. All right, to be able to pay your rent and all of the other things that are governing, accordingly. Okay, so when we make statements about the cost of living and where people should live based upon that. If a person decides to move wherever it is, Texas, Alabama, Georgia, whatever, their actual money that they're making at that point is going to get cut in half. So they're making $100,000. Guess what? They go to those areas, they're going to be making 50 and below. All right. So where is the increase or the better increase from me being in other areas by losing? Okay. And then the rents are basically saying we lived in Atlanta. Okay. In the area in which we lived in Atlanta, Midtown area, okay, we were fortunate because our apartment was one of the ones that were under the historical, historical thing, the historical district. So therefore, they have a rent, a cost of living cap because of the historical district. Okay, but you go right across the street, right downtown to the high rise, anywhere in excess of $31,000 to $5,000 a month. Okay, right there on Peachtree Street. Okay, and now they have established $1 million condos right there on Peachtree Street. I mean, $1 million plus condos. All right, so live where you want to live at the bottom line. All right, and know that whatever the adjustments that needs to be made as you as an individual is going to be able to do that. But going back is not the way to move forward. Go ahead. You got a point about that?
Well, you can always downsize. Now that's my thing. In order to and especially in these times, I think. Most Americans, those who believe in being frugal, would say in situations in that nature, you would need to downsize. That means you would need to take on a more cheaper approach to life. But then on top of that, there are factors into doing that.
Right.
And but that would be the only way.
Well, what predicates? I'm sorry, I'm just asking you this question. So, and then Charles, you can please John. So, what predicates downsizing? You know what I'm saying? And usually when someone looks at downsizing, they have a bigger home, and things of that particular nature. So either they're coming down to a condo size or something along the lines of that. But what do you live from the comfortable area that you live? Do you go into Povertyville? Do you call that downsizing? I'm just throwing out the scenario.
Well, some people now live in tiny homes.
Well, yeah, but
I hear what you're saying though. But those programs, even though out here they're non-existent, but in other places that's what they do in order to live within their means. And
can I give you an example of downsizing?
Go ahead.
All right, let me show you something real fast.
Okay. Is releasing a memo this morning detailing all the ways he says Elon Musk is poised to benefit from his sweeping control of the federal bureaucracy under President Trump. Senator Richard Blumenthal's memo alleges that Elon Musk may avoid at least $2.37 billion in potential financial liability through his influence with Doge over government agencies and federal workforce cuts. The 44-page memo says, quote, "The through line connecting many of Mr. Musk's decisions appears to be self-enrichment and avoiding what he perceives as obstacles to advancing his interests. Mr. Musk's position may allow him to evade oversight, derail investigations, and make litigation disappear whenever he so chooses, on his terms and at his command." Now, Blumenthal got to the $2.4 billion figure by tallying up the value of potential actions against Musk by federal agencies. As of January 20th, the memo says, Musk and his companies were subject to at least 65 actual or potential actions by 11 different federal agencies, including $1.19 billion in potential liability from Tesla's allegedly false or misleading statements about self-driving features, $633,000 in fines from SpaceX's failures to follow rocket launch requirements, $713,000 in fines from 29 OSHA citations against SpaceX, Tesla, and the Boring Company, and $281 million in potential liability from Neuralink's alleged false or misleading statements about its product risks. Now, the memo concludes, anything less than decisive, immediate, and collective action risks America becoming a bystander to the surrender to modern oligarchy.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for sharing that. You know, and at the end of the day, you know, I mean, realistically, looking at that, all right, you know, and as you were playing, as I say, you don't hate the player, hate the game. You know what I mean? And this is not, you know, approving any of his behaviors as to what he's established or have done, you know, but don't hate the player because the man is a very, very smart and shrewd businessman. Okay.
But he couldn't do that unless the Republicans joined in and helped.
I agree.
Congress is supposed to approve all that stuff. They're supposed to approve it, set the budget. They know, you know, I said hi.
Right. So no, I get it. No, I mean, I understand that. I'm not being in an agreement as to what has happened about it. But I'm just simply saying that, you know, when you have somebody that in it has gotten that particular window, you know, that avenue in, they're taking complete advantage of a situation, and this is what this man is doing. You know, at the end of the day. So, you know, you know what I'm saying about that. But go ahead. I'm sorry, I mean,
but while we're trying to decide how to downsize and save and store up, he's taking and taking and taking.
Yeah.
And the fact is, it takes a Republican Congress for him to do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that's the saddest thing about this situation. That's why I go back, like I said from the very beginning, the American people voted this in.
Yeah.
Because it really boils down to the fact that the people who represent us, who supposedly represent their constituents, allowed this rich man to bring his program into federal situations, federal departments, and get rid of federal workers that he deemed were not liable or necessary to do their jobs. So the fact is, it's on us too, Charles.
Yeah, but you know what's so crazy, Don?
The American people did this to themselves.
But you know what's so crazy? It's not there. I won't even blame the American people. You know who I blame?
Who?
I blame spineless jellyfish Democrats.
Okay.
Trump stole the doggone election. There should have been an investigation into how he did that and what he did. But they go, we want to not be like them, and we're going to take the high road. We're going to do a peaceful transfer of power, and we're going to. And I'm like, yo, you couldn't even investigate to see what he even admitted he cheated, and you can't even go in there and look.
We can go down the line, but I always say Merrick Garland could have did his job.
Right.
That's another one. He was scared. He didn't want to do nothing. Trump was not supposed to run for president. He broke the 14th Amendment. He is not supposed to be in charge of this country because he's a convicted felon and he's causing insurrection. He is not supposed to be able to run for president. He should have been off the ballots, but everybody's scared to mess with Trump because they're scared of him. And he running around here like he a gangster. And he ain't no Teflon Don. He's
we're a status-driven country anyway. We uphold status.
Yeah, well.
He represents the gravitas of what American greed and extravagance and having all of this wealth looks like. Yeah. Because the fact is, they wanted a strong leader. That
doesn't represent strength. That's the sad
to them
part.
It does. To them it does.
Yeah. No, I get it.
To them it does. Because look who is running everything. Every time you see in your algorithm people telling you you're not a victim. You need to stop being lazy. You need to get up and you need to go find your job. You need to go work. You need to go do this. You need to stop complaining. Who is telling you this? Mm-hmm. These are people who have money, who sit back and they exploit people like us that come home from working 8 to 9 hours, depending on where you work. And you ain't got no life because they can sit back. They're taking from your time because they need you to man the ship while they go on their extravagant vacations. That's why I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm being real about this. I'm wanting this stuff to happen with China. Because not only will it affect the average American worker, it's going to affect the business owner and all of these CEOs that they feel like it won't touch me. It won't touch you, but it's going to touch that business that you need. The fact that Tesla is running still, but Tesla needs China as much as Walmart needs China.
But you know the problem is
Amazon needs China.
This country is not a company. Government is not a dang on company.
But
don't run a country like a company.
And that is the major problem that has surfaced in America, because they think that America is a business. Okay, they think it, and it has been, I think, programmed back into society over and over and over and over again. And this is why that man got to win the office, because these people think that this needs to be handled on a business platform.
On a business platform.
Okay, and it does not. All right, and it is completely destroying where we are as a country.
Yeah.
It's completely.
Hey, the Alaskan senator was Lisa Murkowski, I think her name is. She had the nerve to say, "I'm scared to speak out." I'm like, hold on, you're a representative of your state, but you're scared to speak out.
Well,
she's scared.
Well,
she's scared because, to be honest with you, she don't want to lose her job. That's why she's.
How do you run for that job if you're scared? That's not the job for scary people.
Yeah.
Thank God for Jasmine Crockett.
Well,
that's another one. Jasmine put the Superior Court Justice
Supreme Court.
He was on the inquiry at a subcommittee, and she made him look like how do I put this? She made him look like the Penguin on Batman. He sat back, couldn't do nothing but go wah, 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 wah. Couldn't say nothing. And then he told her she want to be in his favor. She goes, "No, sir, I'm in favor of the people I represent. I didn't come here to be in favor with politicians and senior leadership. I came here to represent my state, who needs my help." When people, and then she started naming off cases. Man, I should get that clip. She started naming off cases of people that couldn't get heard in the Supreme Court, but yet they brought somebody else in there, some rich guy, and he got his case heard within 3 to 4 months, and then was adjudicated. And he got it done by one of the judges, Alito, somebody he puts money behind.
That's absolutely true.
I can believe that Mom must own the satellites that is hooked up to
it is. Trump told him, "I don't need your vote. We already got it." What does that tell you?
Right. And again, I thank Mom for sharing that piece. I just, and you I have this conversation. I just hold my head a lot of days. I just don't understand how we as Americans got so bamboozled by this chip.
We got lazy.
Because we don't know. We just didn't do nothing. We don't know how our government runs. Let you hear this clip. Now, this is an old clip with Obama and some people who were not harassing him, but they were protesting at one of his speeches back in the day. Listen to this. If I can.
And that's why we're okay. All right. What I'd like to do. No, don't worry about it, guys. Okay, let me finish. How about these guys don't need to go. Let me finish. I respect the passion of these young people because they feel deeply about the concerns for their families. Now, what you need to know when I'm speaking as President of the United States, and I come to this community, is that if, in fact, I could solve all these problems without passing laws in Congress, then I would do so. But we're also a nation of laws. That's part of our tradition. And so the easy way out is to try to yell and pretend like I can do something by violating our laws. And what I'm proposing is the harder path, which is to use our democratic processes to achieve the same goal that you want to achieve. But it won't be as easy as just shouting. It requires us lobbying and getting it done. So,
a true leader.
Yeah.
It's a true leader. We don't have those no more.
No. And the fact is, the truth is that the American people think we have an autocrat. The president is an autocrat. He can just on a whim just change everything. That's not how it works. And that's what they're looking for in Trump. Right. But see, Trump got these judges on his ass. And that's what people don't.
That's why he wants to be able to put them in jail. Because he knows that it will stop him. The legal system will stop him, but he's trying to fire judges, put people in jail.
I mean, and then
the American people wanted this, Charles, and that's why I keep going back to the fact that the American people we put ourselves in this situation because we don't know we don't want to believe the truth, and we don't want to live in the reality of a democratic system.
Right.
The democratic system is not the president alone.
Right.
It's a 3-tier system.
Right.
You have the Congress, the Senate, and you have the president,
right.
the judicial, and the legislative,
right.
the executive, and which is the last, but the
right.
judicial.
Right.
But the facts are the facts. The president cannot do nothing without the Congress.
Right.
Now, with Trump, if they really want that, they will get it through him.
Yeah.
Because he's willing to tear up that Constitution in a heartbeat,
right.
and he might will.
Right.
He will.
Right. That was his mission, and that was the mission of Project 2025. To tear up the Constitution.
And in 2 weeks, he's going to rule into probably how much food we should have, how much clean water we should have, how much clean air should be flowing through our communities. See, he wants that type of control. But you got dumb Americans who don't understand that when you do not do your civic duty and get in there and get involved,
right.
You cannot sit and complain in corners. You got to get involved. But if you don't, this is what happens. And now we're going to suffer the consequences.
In 2017, they had what was called net neutrality. It was up for the books for the FCC to approve, which was the meaning that everybody gets the same speed, the same bips per second. That without no matter how much you pay, we all get the same. Trump went in, canceled that junk. He said he didn't want it, got rid of it, and he messed around and gave us what you get, what you pay for. That's why we have to pay so much to get good Wi-Fi, because Trump killed net neutrality. He didn't want that in there, and his buddies made a fortune. And people kept saying, and I asked you, did you know about when that happened? I was like, this is my point. You don't pay attention. You don't listen. You don't watch. I don't watch the news. It's depressing.
Oh my God.
His grandson, we had a conversation with his grandson over the phone. He's working in the state of Georgia, in Atlanta, Georgia, to be exact. And I asked him, I said, I told him, I said, how are you trying to go back into get into school, right? Are you trying to get into college? He was like, I'm having a hard time doing it. I said, have you watched the news lately? He was like, no, Mr. D, I have not watched the news. Do you know that they have liquidated the Department of Education? So you trying to get a Pell Grant or a student loan or anything, you're not going to get it because there's nobody to talk to at this place. He was like, I didn't know that. I said, well, how do you not know that? I just don't want. I said, that is dangerous.
Yeah.
Because you're walking this is so unfortunate. He's walking about a good 9 miles to work. Walking. And
then some of that's part of his fault too.
It is part of his fault, but he's having to do it.
Right.
But the facts are that he don't know what's going on in his world.
Right.
And Atlanta, Georgia.
What happened? What's going on?
It being black at this point,
right?
Because Kemp already.
All right, there,
okay.
We're good.
We're good. We're good. We're good.
We're
going to an earthquake. It's just been fun. Probably Trump messing with us. You know what?
Hey, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt what they say.
Something. The truth behind the truth is being looked at. It's been investigated and dissected and analyzed. But it's the fact that you need to know what's going on in your world, in the story.
Right.
Your bubble has to have a window in it so something can come in. You just can't just sit in your little bubble and nothing penetrates.
Right. I took took our car to the dealership today. Was trying to get some adjustments, made on it. And I was looking at the amount of people, and this is just kind of piggybacking off what you guys were saying. And if you just sit back and watch the behaviors of people in everyday life, okay, and how they are just going and going and going and not paying attention to anything that is going on around them. And I'm like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, is my mind getting blown? Mm-hmm. Watching this, and this is a nice dealership. I ain't gonna tell you what it was, but it's a nice dealership, and I'm looking at, so this sector of people, okay, feel like they don't have anything to worry about, so we go out and get us some breakfast. How many people in that restaurant would you say that was actually having a conversation like we're having right now?
I doubt it.
None.
Well, you know, they were all at SoFi at Beyonce's concert.
Well, I wasn't gonna bring it up, but oh my God! See, that is a whole nother situation right there.
I mean, they all went to the concert.
They were all.
And it's fine.
No, it's not.
Wait a minute now. Let me be devil's advocate.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay.
Sometimes you need to get away from what is reality.
Yeah, that part of it
to balance the situation.
Not at $6,000.
That's another situation. But they did that. They paid that $6,000. Yeah. And you know what? The saddest thing about it is, in 2 weeks, I hope they understand that. I hope it was worth going to see Beyonce, because now you're going to have to figure out those who paid that $6,000 and can't even afford food, that won't be able to get or afford or do whatever they need to do, because it was more priority. You know, my priority was to go see Beyonce. Mm-hmm. But it's so sad, though, that we're going through this and people are still going on their daily lives like it's nothing going on. And that is very scary to those who we're seeing what we're seeing, but we're wondering if anybody else is seeing what we're seeing. And, you know, even though my job, I work at Frito. Let's just say that. And I'm always thinking in the back of my mind, do my coworkers know how really at this time, how, you know, really in dire straits we're going to be, where we work in the grocery industry and we know that's going to be affected with these tariffs.
Toilet paper. Toilet paper.
Yeah.
Phone chargers, phone cords. Screen protectors, all that stuff comes from overseas.
Right.
So if you ain't got extra cords in case one goes out, you're gonna be, you know, you crap out of luck.
Well, you know, and you mentioned about different places of employment and things like that. And I think about the company that I work for. They are not only company. I never say who I work for. You know, I do a service. Right. I don't work for nobody no more. The situation with that is that they are like scaling the idea of where they want to do pricing. Okay. And now they're going to manipulate the consumer by scaling that pricing. So what they're saying is that, well, we advise you at this time to go ahead and consider buying this bedroom set, because you come back in 2 weeks, it's going to be much higher than what it was and than where it is right now. We've already increased our prices, and we're consistently finding ways to keep increasing our prices. All right. They're scared. Okay. They're scared. The majority of our furniture, it is considered American made, but we own, or allegedly own, the production factory in where are we? Not China. What's that other place?
Taiwan?
Yeah, no. Vietnam. So we own several factories in Vietnam, where our furnishings are made, as well as here in the U.S. Right, but they still have to deal with the tariffs that are possibly going to be coming from the Vietnam side.
Well, just think about this: the housing market is is stuck at the moment. It's so bad that people are willing to pay a year of HOA fees for the buyers of their homes.
Wow!
Just so they'll sell.
Wow.
Now this is and well, let me be the old guy here. Okay, so we remember back when Reagan was in office, and we had that high unemployment, inflation, when Reagan called himself trying to do what Trump basically is doing now, and everything went in the toilet. He couldn't fix it. Well, during that time, people bought a lot of homes, because back then the average two to 3 bedroom home was about 150, 160, 160,000. Now that sucker's 400 to 500,000. The same home.
Right.
So they're predicting that sometime this fall there's going to be another crash. Well, you know how that works. The rich folks are sitting back now collecting their money, because when things become dirt cheap, they're going to swoop in and buy up all those homes like they did the last time. And then we're going to be out here having to pay whatever they got held over our heads to get it, because they came in and got it. So if we're smart, like you said, with this change coming, we get our ducks and stuff in a row, prepare for the worst. And when that time comes, we buy some investments. We buy some of those homes. We pick up some of those things. And then when the market picks back up, we're already invested.
Absolutely. So if you don't have it, I mean, if you're not strategically, well, first of all, it does take a second to get to that, to get that particular point. But if you're not having this conversation with you, yourself, your family, and everyone else involved to find ways, okay, to maneuver this same system on your benefit, you're doing yourself a complete injustice.
Yeah.
A complete injustice. Because if you are going on with business, as they call it, business as usual, all right, and missing out on if you're not coming up with a strategic savings plan, if you're not coming up with an investment plan and looking at where to invest, because here's the thing, whatever is considered the dollar, whether it's the cloth dollar that you spend around every day or it's the computer dollar, crypto, all of these other type of things, you need to be looking at these sources as to a place of being able to invest your money. All right, at the end of the day. All right, we talked about land and all of those, and that's fine. All right, at the end of the day, but guess what? That land still got to be purchased by somebody in order to give you some money for that land.
That's true.
Okay, so you holding onto a piece of property it's not going to create wealth for you. That wealth is going to have to be in the tangible means of somewhere that it can be borrowed and leveraged. Leveraged is what I'm trying to say. Borrowed and leveraged. All right, because you can't leverage your land. Either you give it away or you sell it away, but you can't leverage your land at the end of the day. And I just think we were talking about this yesterday, that you're going to find that we're going to end up going back to I don't like the word term going back, reinventing, I guess it's a good term, of this leveraging situation that we all were made up from. So in other words, I'm going back thousands of years, but the idea of that is that the same way that it, in my opinion, will get something going in the direction that supports people, but you've got to have something to be able to leverage, at the end of the day. And at this point, you can't leverage a Birkin bag. You can't leverage Beyonce tickets. Just saying. All right. You got to look at, and to your point, where do you downsize? Where do you downsize your thought? Downsizing has to start in your mind first, and then remove the things that are necessary or to bring it to another place. But downside, we have a lot of different ideas about downsizing, at the end of the day. And it doesn't mean that you go from a decent living down to living in a rat infested home. You know what I'm saying? That's not what we're talking about in terms of downsizing.
I know one thing. If you don't want extra responsibility, I think it's time now to pack it up and have a little bit more discipline in the bedroom too.
Yeah, well.
Or you'll end up like Shannon Sharp with a $50 million price tag.
Good transition. Go right on into that. $50 million
price tag.
Great transition
over your head. So I think for those who like to, have fun, I think you need to either play with the roles or play with the dice. I'm just saying, go pick the roses and play with the dice just a little bit. If you don't want no extra responsibility, just know it comes. What you call say to anime? You know what comes with that territory.
Yeah.
Hey, that's money right there, children. It's money.
That opens up a whole nother Pandora's box, a complete Pandora's box. Hey, certain things require certain disciplines, and then everybody don't feel like they have to exercise. At the end of the day, to keep money in their pocket. You can Shannon Sharps and the Nick Cannons and all of these other ones that are just are frutilely creating more havoc for their life.
Do you? But I remember the guy the other day was asking.
It'd be probably better for them to do themselves.
This guy the other day, and I think I mentioned it in the last episode. He came up to me and he was like, "Man, these women, and it's gonna cost me a lot of money to get. It cost me a lot of money to get to the what." And I said, "Well, why don't you not get to the what and save your money?" But then that went over his head regardless. But the fact is,
can I share something about Shannon Sharp with you?
Go ahead.
Sure.
All right, here we go.
Oh Lord, I cannot.
Oh, why is there no sound? Oh, what's going? Oh, there you go.
I can't.
Hey, when you're famous, you're famous.
A doll. Okay.
If they even know what Jane Doe was, her OnlyFans account might have went up.
I think it did. Carly. And they call her Carly on OnlyFans. Yeah.
I mean, she might have leveled up now that she's got a little bit of notoriety. But the same
could have great publicity.
Yeah, a hell of a lot of publicity. She probably it was shutting down the internet now. All her internet play because everybody gonna want to see what he been sharpening up on.
Man, that is so crazy though. And you know what? Farrakhan said this. He said, "Don't laugh, learn." And I know a lot of people who are laughing right now. Now, Stephen Smith, he had a lot to say on it, but I kept saying this while he was talking all that talk. Like I don't dibble and dabble in situations like that. I said, now, hey, you say that, but your stuff haven't came out yet. Now you don't have to dibble and dabble on what Shannon was doing, but Negro, you ain't got your stuff haven't came out yet. You talk too damn much too, you know. Shannon talked too much, and he talked way too much. So I know for a fact that hey, Shannon got his, you know, he's got what they call it, the embarrassment ritual. What does Jaguar Wright call it? She called it the embarrassment ritual. But anyway, he's got his stuff coming too. So if I was
I look at it like this: Stephen A. has been there for decades, and ain't nothing came out. He ain't gonna get rolled up like Shannon. Monique told, and so the Cat Winslet told Shannon on the show, leave them young white girls alone. And he said, "Oh, get on up out of here with that." And he was like, "No." And Monique said, "Shannon, you need your older woman. Take you home when you come home. Know what you feel like. Get you a beer and get you something to eat." Talking about them little young white girls don't know it. You get that 4th round, you're gonna be begging. I can't go no more. And she's gonna be like, "What you mean you can't go? You need your woman that's gonna take care of you." And he's like, "Oh, come on, Monique. It's tough out here." And now look what happened.
Well, he said he doesn't date his age, he dates his wage. But now he dated 50 million.
There you go.
Wow.
He dated 50 million.
Wow.
And that in itself is very telling. He gave himself that type of height. Yeah. But then on top of that, and I'm not trying to be funny, but the fact is, it was a lot cheaper when the rumor was that he was gay. It was cheaper. But now he had to prove that he wasn't gay. And now that he proved that he wasn't gay.
Prove nothing.
He proved, but now he got to pay that 50 million for that proof.
I don't think he's gonna have to pay it. I think that's just she only jumped up there thinking because Busby did the same thing with Jay-Z, and then it fell apart. I think what's gonna happen with Shannon showed the text where she asked him to do abusive things to her, to treat her rough. He got all the texts. He put them out there. She asked for things, so now she's going, "You scare me." No, he was like, "What you mean you scared? This is what we was doing already." And he showed the text messages. When you come over, treat me like I deserve it. Make me scream. Make me, hey. And now, so now you mad and say, "Well, he took it from me." No, you already said take it from you. You want that. You like that stuff.
Wow. That's you know. I mean,
but she had nothing to lose.
Right.
That's the thing. She had nothing to lose. He had a lot to lose.
Right.
He put himself in a situation where you are dealing with let's just say immaturity. I mean, the fact is that she figured him out.
Yeah. And
she's going to utilize the fact that she knows so much about him through the fact that they have had these situations, these you know, this stuff that he was doing in the bedroom with her. Yeah. She's going to utilize this. And now his lawyers might say, "Why don't you just cop up a few just a meal or two and get this out the way?"
They said, "No, we're not going to do that." She has to be able to prove that it was something more than what it was. And like I say, he's got evidence. Now, yeah, he's going to be embarrassed. And yeah, he might pay legal fees. But all in all these it puts a target on your back. And that's another thing. I think when women like the lady who did Jay-Z, sue him.
Yeah.
Sue him for defamation.
That's right.
Yeah. You'll learn after that to stop doing that stuff. You know, oh, he's trying to gain. Because see, that's what Michael Jackson got in trouble from. Just give him some money and let him go. No, they're not. They're gonna keep coming back.
They're gonna keep coming back for more money because you put, like you said, you put a target on your back for more people to come and utilize and abuse the situation. Yeah. But it's very unfortunate though, because you would think these people would know better. But they still don't get the hit. They don't get it. You'll see more of these stories coming out too, besides Shannon Sharpe. You will see more of this because they don't still understand that you need to walk in your purpose and have at least some discipline with yourself. Now, you're not perfect. No, nobody's perfect. And I'm not trying to say
predicated on perfect. It's just
I'm
making disciplined decisions about situations.
Nobody's perfect.
And stop living with that meat.
I'm close. I'm close as you can get to perfect. That's about it.
You know what?
You know what?
But I mean, it's a serious tip as we kind of bring the show to a close. I mean, the personal disciplines. Somebody said on this show a long time ago, you can't stop people from having sex. And anybody trying to stop people from having sex.
No.
But if you're gonna go in cautiously. Okay, at the end of the day, and be wise about what you're doing. At the end of the day, especially when you are grown ass such and such. I mean,
you're supposed to be mature.
Yeah, you're supposed to be. But see, it's like, and unfortunately, because this person may be highly sexualized, and they can't hold back because she rubbed in the wrong way or rubbed in the right way, and he goes into that feeling and he can't pull himself back. You know what I'm saying? It's like, really? Okay, really.
They be calling me, man. They be calling me.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever.
You need to be like Drake and put Tabasco sauce in the condom, so the girl could have sued him for burning. Was it? She sued him for hurting. He gave her a burning sensation, supposedly.
Oh my God.
But still, though.
But why? I mean,
she took the condom out of the trash to get a baby from Drake. And Drake put the Tabasco sauce in there. She went to court with that.
Why? Why do you put yourself in the middle of this shit? Period. Why? Okay? I mean, just my mind. Why do you put yourself in the middle of this shit? It does not make sense. You just don't care about your own life. You don't care about your own body. You don't care about the people that you're with. All right? And that just does not make sense to me. You keep opening up the can of worms, okay? Something gonna get burnt, something gonna get bit, something gonna happen at the end of the day. All right, just stop doing this shit. You know what I mean? It's like we understand sex, power, money, and greed. It all runs in there together, okay? And one outweighs the other at different times, okay?
But there's always a motive.
I get it.
To be honest with you, when you mess with people who have, like I said, who have nothing to do. You need to know who you're dealing with. And some of these people, they walk into the situation. Well, hey.
We ain't talking about grown. We ain't talking about no teenagers. Teenagers nowadays have more disciplines over their bodies than the adults do.
Yes, it's been shown that teenagers are having less sex than they've had in the last 15 years.
Absolutely. The teenagers have more discipline over their bodies than the adults do. These adults, classified as they are just off the chain. In terms of it, it's like, what the hell is wrong? Well, hell, they got strip club girls that now are the best rappers in the world, and all of that coming in at the end of the day. We don't get into that tonight, but and bopping and bopping and dropping and twerking and shirking, and all of the things.
Megan Thee Stallion,
I didn't want to say it.
She's got a Popeyes restaurant.
Jesus.
She now owns a Popeyes restaurant.
Jesus.
So I mean, congrats to Megan Thee Stallion, but keep going.
So what is it gonna be? Twerking chicken?
Yes, it is. So she got her own hot sauce.
Twerking chicken.
Twerking hot sauce.
Yeah, twerking chicken.
Yeah, Megan Thee Stallion.
Hey, well, if Rick Ross and Lotto can have wing stops, why Megan can't have a chicken place?
There you go.
Twerking chicken.
I ain't hate on the girl. The girl is utilizing her platform to run business.
That's what I say. Master P making grits and some other and rice. So I mean, everybody can find your merchandise. Oh, did it freeze? Oh, we went over the hour.
Who? Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, we're still here. Just we have a little
playing with our system because we said so much about Trump.
Yeah.
The government watching when they messing with your Wi-Fi. So y'all, we ain't immune. We're a small little show, but somebody watching.
Okay.
Somebody from the highest of the highest is watching us.
I ain't nobody.
At the end of the day,
I always feel like somebody's watching.
But anyway, let's just bring this to the wrap. Okay, so we talked about on different different platforms tonight, which we hope that each one of us got some complete understanding on where to frame your ideas of moving forward. All right, because it's about you moving forward. If you feel like you need to downsize, move, whatever, go for it. Okay, that's gonna make your situation better. Mm-hmm. But I will say this: out of everything, you know, talk to your neighbors, talk to your friends, talk to your coworkers or your business owners or whatever the case may be, and get a clear understanding of what's going on, as we always say, in the community. Okay, and understand where your money's going, why it's going in those particular areas. All right. So if you are part of a movement to stop shopping someplace, get in that movement and stop shopping. All right. You can change things with your dollar.
Yes, you can. Look at Target.
You know,
they had to talk to Al Sharpton not too long ago.
Yeah.
Look at what's going on with Amazon. Everybody has cut off their accounts with Amazon, and they're losing billions. Look at what's going on. I'm so happy that we have a neighbor in this building, Miss E. She's always telling us the real about making sure that y'all are storing up and, you know, make sure you go and get some items that you will need because things are happening.
Right.
I like that we have that type of community here, and you're going to need that wherever you're at.
Right.
So at the end of the day, I mean, it's just the fact that we're living in some dire times.
Right.
And people need to be real with the situation.
Right.
Truth behind the truth.
Right. Well, true. I mean, you know, honestly, in the direction that we're going, if we want to go back in time, this is sliding in a direction. You can't go back, but sliding in a direction of another Great Depression.
And it is.
Okay.
It is.
I mean, it's sliding in that particular direction, you know, but it won't be a great, it'll be a greater. Okay, it'll be a greater depression. Okay, at the end of the day,
you're gonna have to go back to eating beans and rice and fat back.
Anyway, some people eat that out.
That's the only thing we're gonna be eating, and that's what they were eating back in the day. Beans and rice and fat back.
Get some chitterlings.
Get some
chitterlings.
Oh Lord, you know. But, you know, but just, I mean, be aware, people. Please be aware. And everywhere you go, be aware. In the grocery store, as I said before, wherever you are, be aware. Be aware what you're.
Don't be afraid to buy some Vienna sausage. Buy 10 to 15 cans. Don't be
heart attack bombs.
That's right. Get you some hash, some potatoes or something. What is it? No, let's be real about it, because that's the reality. Meat is gonna get crazy.
Well,
you're gonna need some potted meat. You better go do what you need to do. I don't like potted meat, but hey, I do what we have to do.
Yeah, well, anyway, so but pay attention to, you know, what's going on around you, please, each and every day, guys, because it is really, really important. And have these conversations with people. Some things we do try to make light of it so it doesn't become overly serious and overbearing for you. But there is a very strong severity as to what is happening, you know, in this country. And please change the vernacular going back to. You can never go back. Okay. It can be a new refreshing of what happened, but you can never go back. You know, at the end of the day. So please change that vernacular. We're going back to this. We can't go back. All right. You know, you cannot. It's a fresher idea. It's a fresher movement. Something maybe it's not the best movement, but it's a different idea going toward it because they got to manipulate you in a different way, you know, at the end of the day. All right. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the Tuesday night edition of the Truth Behind Truth. It will re-air again for you on Saturday at our normal time. If you caught or didn't catch any of it, most of it, share, like. Make sure you take the opportunity to go and get you a mug. All right. The information I'll put up one more time for you. Please do that. We appreciate your support. Hey, I don't understand why the money ain't coming in on those platforms, but that's something for you to figure out too. All right, end of the day, you take, but you won't give.
Sure.
All right, and we've been giving for 5 doggone years.
That's right.
All right, been sitting here trying to mold and shape you in America and around the world. Okay, to be able to be prepared for where we are right now. Okay, these conversations have been had for a long time. You know, we tried to warn you about the administration coming in 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Right. We did. Okay. So we can honestly put our hands up and say, we told you. Okay. We told you to be prepared. We even told you election night, sitting right here in our house. We told you election night, don't do it. Okay. But, you know, you decided to go ahead and do it anyway.
Hard head make it soft behind.
Yes, it does. Yep. And soft and anything else in between. All right. You know, so anyway,
even the Holy Ghost whisper done told you everything's gonna be all right. Yeah.
No, it ain't.
Y'all remember that episode of Martin? We were walking out of the Holy Ghost whisper. Still though.
Don't forget to like the program and comment. We need your likes and comments. Don't forget.
And comments, we do absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you once again for tuning into the Truth Behind Truth tonight. We love you all. We will see you right back here Tuesday night between 6:15 and 6:30. All right, giving you that window, guys. So if you're running home, you get some coffee, some wine, or whatever, so you get in place by 6:30. We may come at 6:15, but between 6:30. But guess what? We won't be coming in between.
That's true.
All right. We'll see you then. Have a blessed, powerful week. do something, go out, do something different, and number one thing, love on somebody. Please do. All right. Take care. See you next week. Bye-bye.